Hi Wildings, welcome back to the Wilding Tarot channel, where we do intuitive tarot card readings for whenever you need it, guys. Today's channeled messages will be around what your person's first impression of you was. That's what I feel called to ask today, to see what comes up for you guys. This could be any sort of situation, whether you're in a situationship, a relationship, a crush, or something new, or something existing, or whatever it is. I will be getting messages for everyone. Just know that if your energy of your connection slightly deviates from everyone else's in the reading, that you may just need to use a little bit more intuition and discernment to make sure you know which messages are for you, which ones are not for you. And which cards maybe have a different interpretation based on your situation. But that's something for general readings just to take with you regardless. It's always best to bring your own intuition and discernment to any general reading. But now that we've got the disclaimers out of the way, it's time to go ahead and choose a pile to get channeled messages regarding your person's first impression of you. I'm going to ask for messages about what they were kind of thinking, feeling, or kind of how you appeared to them, like either over the course of the first little bit they were getting to know each other, or the first day that they met you. So if you would like, there is a brief description of each reading at the very, very bottom of the description box. It has some summaries that you can use if you're practicing any sort of self-care, like avoiding triggers, or only opening yourself up to certain readings, or if you're not feeling super connected to your intuition today and just want a few extra buzzwords to go off, that's always there for you as an option. For everyone else, just choosing a pile, either pile 1, 2, or 3, based on where your intuition is sending you, knowing that it's normal to be drawn to more than one pile. There may be more than one person that Spirit's trying to channel messages for you now, or your particular situation might be a combination of kind of two piles or two different like situations or archetypes. So just going wherever your intuition is sending you, even if it's more than one pile, even if it's a different pile when you rewatch this video later than when you're watching it today. But yeah, I will leave in a freeze frame if you need more time, so just pause on that. If that feels good for you, if you want like a moment of silence, you do you. But for everyone else, choosing a pile 1, 2, or 3, and wherever you end up, I'll see you there in a moment. Hey there, pile 1, welcome to your reading for your person's first impression of you, no matter kind of what situationship you're in right now. So if you chose this beautiful red crystal, then this reading is probably for you. However, as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, meditate on the rest. But let's go ahead and get some general themes for you, pile 1, when it comes to your person's first impression of you. Very interesting. Okay, so pile 1, we have the Saturn return, the 10th house, and Virgo energy. So Saturn actually rules the 10th house, and it rules Capricorn energy, which is the ruler of the 10th house. So Saturn is known as the planet of like kind of responsibility and truth, especially to do with kind of like living your life purpose and doing what you intended to do on this earth in this incarnation. The 10th house, it can sometimes refer to our career, I think especially when we're young, but I think, yeah, definitely the 10th house is more to do with like fulfilling our life purpose here on earth. Virgo energy, it rules the 6th house and is ruled by Mercury, the more analytical side of Mercury, and it has to do with our like daily routine. So it can be also to do with work, but also like our lifestyle and general routines, like health and all that sort of stuff. Based on this, I would say that you potentially met this person in some sort of work setting, just based on kind of 2 career kind of cards coming out. But let's get a little bit more specific using this traditional tarot to find out if that's everyone or if that's just some of the people here and maybe the energies aren't that literal. We're just going to grab some cards. What was pile 1's first impression of them, please? What was pile 1's person's first impression of them, please? Can we have more about what pile 1's... Can you clarify this 3 of Swords energy, please? Can we get more about what pile? Can we clarify this Knight of Wands? Thank you. Pile 1, you probably met this person either at work, based on this Virgo 10th house kind of work routine, career energy coming out, or in some sort of situation where like they were at work and maybe you weren't. So like either like maybe they're a PT or a barista or something, or like vice versa. But the 2 of you probably met when one or both of you were working. And honestly, your person felt like you were out of their league, but they were very intrigued by you. So this 3 of Swords is a Saturn in Libra energy. So Libra is like a kind of like lover's partnership kind of energy. It's a seventh house energy, which is why the 3 of Swords can often indicate kind of like strife when it comes to our connections, and it really brings out that Saturn truth, like when we're in connections where our truth isn't being brought out, like they tend to like end, because that pull of Saturn is so strong. So yeah, it seems like the way I'm interpreting this is that like their Saturn energy was like, oh, this person like definitely could be a vibe. But at the same time, they were like, no, she's out of my league. Especially with this Fool card coming out, like they just felt like a bit of an idiot compared to you. They were just like, I don't think I'm going to be able to match her or their or his energy. And like, honestly, you made them fairly nervous, especially in this first interaction with this Knight of Swords in reverse. I'm sensing that they're probably a bit more kind of together, especially with all this kind of like swords and pentacles energy coming out. But definitely around you, they felt like they were a little bit out of control and just like kind of didn't have their shit together the first time that they met you. I think they'd kind of been through some stuff just before meeting you. And so they kind of met you at a time where they weren't necessarily feeling the best about themselves. And I think maybe they projected that onto you a little bit, where they were kind of seeing you as like way more secure, stable, abundant, satisfied with your life, and kind of like had your shit together, so to speak, because they were like kind of in this place of lack in themselves. Like this, like 10 of Cups in reverse can indicate like falling out of alignment within yourself. And I'm sensing from this 6 of Pentacles in reverse, like you weren't really giving them much. Like I'm sensing that you were like not overly flirty or forward, or like even engaging with them that much, and that kind of like fed into this narrative that they had around like you kind of being out of their league, and it was just like kind of not gonna happen. So yeah, I think your person was definitely intrigued and excited by you, but they really just didn't see this like going anywhere. Like they didn't see you like kind of reciprocating their kind of like instant attraction anytime soon. They kind of like felt like you weren't as attracted to them as they were to you, and they were kind of like, okay, like whatever, just gonna get on with it and kind of do my business then, I guess. Yeah, they definitely, like, the moment they met you, they had a bit of doubt in themselves. Yeah, they've probably been kind of watching you from afar for the majority of your connection, at least in the early days before they really knew, like, what you had going on. And I think, like, this kind of resilience card means, like, they were kind of, like, kept maybe poking the bear. Like, they kept kind of coming back around and just, like, maybe saying something or doing something to kind of, like, try and like kind of poke you a little bit to see if you were going to respond to them the way that they like wanted you to respond. And they were like very much kind of assessing how you were responding to them and like what you were saying and doing, and just kind of like, I'm getting that they were like kind of Nancy Drewing, like trying to figure out maybe if you were even slightly attracted to them. I think they definitely, like, I'm getting lots of like kind of attraction and sexual energy and like desire for you pretty much from the get-go. But yeah, I definitely feel like they felt like you were kind of like in this bubble, like enclosed, like they couldn't get to you, like you were kind of aloof. I think you were just like at the time maybe focused on other things and maybe potentially like not quite like open to them, or like maybe like you were just kind of worrying about different stuff, and like, or even I'm hearing for some of you, like maybe you were focusing on whether they were attracted to you the same time as they were focusing on whether you were attracted to them, and so it's kind of like this bit of stalemate energy. So I think you're kind of like both looking but not necessarily like really that aware about how the two of you were feeling. But then at some point probably like something opened between the two of you, and this connection was able to transform in some way. Either it's transforming now if this is kind of more new, or if this is like an older situation. At some point like the connection between the two of you transformed in that it was clear to the two of you how you felt about each other and that you were actually kind of feeling the same way. And that created like this gateway of like kind of communication and connection, or is creating a gateway of communication or connection if this is newer. But your affirmation pile one is, I'm filled with creative energy and I'm ready to manifest. So if this is a newer thing, like I think it's definitely a time to potentially like manifest this connection into fruition. And for anyone else, like potentially using manifesting energy to either, if you're in a separation, maybe like calling this person back, or if you're like separated, like using that creative energy to like manifest the stuff that you want, or if you're in a relationship now with this person, using that creative and manifesting energy to like kind of co-create together, like figuring out what this relationship really wants and needs, and using like two heads rather than one in making that come into fruition. Manifesting in pairs, like usually is much more powerful. But I think I'm going to leave that there. Pile 1, I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. It was a pleasure reading for you. My name's Jade Rewilding, and I'll be back on this page for whenever you need it, guys. So if you can like, comment, and subscribe, that will help me come back on your feed very soon for another intuitive tarot card reading. Until then, ciao. Hey there, pile 2. Welcome to your reading for what your person's first impression of you was. So if you chose this smoky quartz crystal, then this reading is probably for you. However, as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and meditate on the rest. But let's go ahead and get some themes for your person's first impression of you, pile 2. Could we get some themes for pile 2's person's first impression of them? Could we get more themes for pile 2's person's first impression of them, please? Pile 2, your themes are Sun, Spirit, ruler of the 5th house of creativity, sex, pleasure, fun, and Leo energy. We also have the water element, which equates to the cup suit in our tarot, and sensing, love, psychic gifts, emotion, and obviously Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces energy. And then we also have void, of course, of moon, which is like associated with this like kind of intense feeling of missing, which I find very interesting. I have a feeling I know what's going to come out already, but let's go ahead and get some tarot cards. Yeah, okay. I thought the Lovers card would come out. I have a feeling that this missing card came out because there was like instant soul recognition between the two of you from a past life, for sure. I'll clarify this High Priestess energy. And the Lovers card, please. We clarify this 8 of Pentacles and 7 of Cups energy, please. Pile 2, your person instantly recognized you either from a past life or as a part of their soul. Either this is a twin flame connection and the two of you have always been incarnated on this earth as two pieces of one soul, and or you guys have been lovers on some other realm, some other higher vibrational realm, and when you guys reconnected, they instantly recognized you as the other part of their soul, which is why this void, of course, of moon missing card came out. Like they realized that you were kind of the missing part of them. You were the other part of their soul, their spirit. And yeah, they definitely kind of like sensed this connection with you, this powerful connection, either twin flame or like intense past life, high vibrational lovers. They saw you as their perfect counterpart. The Two of Pentacles is kind of like perfect balance. So they definitely saw you as like their perfect match, their perfect balance. And that was this like High Priestess energy I'm getting from them. Like they're very much the magician archetype and you're this High Priestess energy. They're kind of like the eternal divine masculine and you're the eternal divine feminine. regardless of kind of how you present in the physical. They're kind of like your kind of like halves, your makeup. The Page of Cups is like new love, but this coming out in reverse tells me this is an ancient love. Like you guys have love from many lifetimes, and it's definitely not new. Like seeing each other, it wasn't new. It felt old. It felt familiar. And your person, when they met you, or when they re-met you, I should say, they definitely felt this kind of like charge and like this kind of spark of like, oh, this is definitely something different. This is something unique compared to the connections that I've been in the past. And I can see that pretty much straight away, this connection, like for your person, kind of started to unravel them. Eight of Pentacles is kind of like splendor, or the expression of like fullness when it comes to the Pentacle suit. So kind of like manifesting like work, education, spiritual development, all that sort of stuff. And I'm getting for your person that kind of like all of that started to crumble for them. They also started kind of seeing the illusions that their 3D body had like gained in this lifetime, and all of kind of their like negative false beliefs that they'd adopted. They realized that they weren't really aligning with a lot of the things that they came to Earth to align with. And basically like they went through this intense kind of like destruction, this like kind of unsettling, this kind of upheaval based on this connection, because of this like intense remembering. It basically like kind of brought up all their stuff to be seen and healed and understood. And yeah, I'm sensing for your person it was an intense time. And so while there was a lot of intense feeling and recognition for you, there was also a lot of like struggle when it comes to the 3D self. And yeah, so this Six of Wands is a, why am I blanking? Jupiter and Leo. So yeah, just like super intense time. But it was all about kind of like incarnating this new phase for your person in terms of like their own power and clarity. Like kind of reconnecting with you was always part of the divine plan in terms of kind of realigning them to everything that they agreed to in this life and everything that they came here to do, probably with you, in all honesty. They probably had an extreme reaction to you, probably really intense desire, or I'm sensing for a few of you here like really intense fear. Like I think some people here just like the fear was so much that they never got to experience the intense like passion first. But yeah, I'm sensing for the most of you, you got that intense passion phase at least. I think they also did resist this connection a little bit because this connection like forced them to face all of their stuff, all of these illusions and all of this kind of unraveling that was happening for them. So yeah, there definitely has to have been moments of resistance for your person, and moments of them potentially just like kind of wanting to pack it all in because it just feels too hard. And I understand that from a 3D level. But I think underneath all of that, for the majority of people, for the majority of time, there was a lot of trust in the process and a lot of understanding that this is part of the path, this is part of their growth, this is part of their plan. And this was always like meant to be, essentially. But let's get some oracles. So we have pure intention and life energy. I think definitely your person felt your pure intentions towards them from the moment that you met them, and they just adored the amazing life energy that you have with you. You feel like a breath of fresh air. So the text says the happy fairy of sunshine brings a lots of life-giving energy. She reminds you to shine your light and to reveal anything in the shadows that needs to be healed. I think that's exactly what you did for your person. You revealed everything that needed to be healed. You shone a lot of light on them, but it also made them very aware of all their shadows, and that was really, really hard for them, or is really, really hard for them depending on what stage of connection you're in. Yeah, it was just like, it was such a time, guys, such a time. Ooh, we've got 2 affirmations that want to pop out. So the 2 affirmations is I allow myself to let go and let the universe guide me. My heart is filled with eternal gratitude. I count my blessing and give thanks for all that I have. Okay, so guys, I think these affirmations, you can take these either as for you or for your person or from your person, however you want to take it. Just trust whatever your gut is saying. But I think for you and your person, it's probably really important at this time to really let go, trust the process, and count all the blessings that you've had along this path. I know it's been difficult, and some of the things, it is potentially challenging to find the gratitude for those kind of unravelings. But yeah, if you can find gratitude for the unraveling and the opportunity to kind of rebuild, it will help this connection immensely. Because yeah, inviting that resistance is just never going to be a good time. It's just not going to end well. So appreciating what is very important. But I think I'm going to leave that there. Pile 2, I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. If it resonated, don't forget to leave me a comment. But if you can like, comment, and subscribe anyway, I would really appreciate it, because it will help me stay on your feed for more intuitive tarot card readings like this whenever you need it, guys. Until then, ciao. Hey there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading for what your person's first impression of you was. So if you chose this beautiful crystal, then this reading is probably for you. However, as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and meditate on the rest. But let's go ahead and get some themes for what your person's first impression of you was. These are very like transformative energies, Pile 3. So we have the solar eclipse revolution. Usually this is like conflict between the either masculine and feminine, represented by the sun and the moon, or the kind of conscious and unconscious, represented by the sun and the moon, or the kind of like spirit and soul, represented again by the sun and the moon, or yeah, like it's usually some sort of like kind of conflict between the two, but it does usually lead to revolution, like when those 2 polarities go up against each other in any format. Yeah, there's usually some sort of like evolution or change for sure. We also have the Destiny card, which is pretty self-explanatory, and then we also have the Pluto card, which represents transformation. It's the co-ruler of the 8th house with Mars, and the 8th house ruler is also Scorpio, which is another very transformative energy. So yeah, very interesting, but let's get a little bit more specific using this traditional tarot. We have messages for Pile 3. I don't know if you can hear that rain, but I love the sound of the rain. I hope it's not too distracting for you. Can we clarify this 3 of Swords energy, please? Can we clarify this 8 of Pentacles, please? Can we clarify this 3 of Pentacles, please? Pile 3, when your person met you, they had this like kind of little inkling, kind of maybe in the back of their subconscious, that you might be the one for them, with this destiny card coming out. I definitely don't think that they expected you to change them as much as you potentially did. But I think on some level they had this idea that potentially you would be a huge kind of like healing and transition for them. I think like you brought up a lot of stuff for them in terms of like past pains, especially when it came to connections. You brought up a lot in terms of the ways that this person wasn't living authentically, or wasn't really that happy with their lives, especially in relation to connection. And I think a bit of that had to do with them having maybe some naive ideas about love, like that were basically leading them to be like extremely unfulfilled. I think they potentially were a little bit emotionally unavailable and were kind of using this idea of like perfect love kind of as a scapegoat, so they'd never really have to enter into anything serious or real with someone. And so they were kind of like perpetually unfulfilled, because obviously if you're like holding onto that narrative, it's never going to sustain you. And I think like when they met you, they realized that they had a lot to learn about how they needed to show up in connection just much differently, and much more maturely and much more realistically, and kind of giving away some of those like childish ideals and fantasies a bit, because they realized that they weren't actually like this. So this Three of Pentacles and King of Cups energy, this is like heavy emotionally unavailable energy, because right way up King of Cups is like very supportive and empathetic and like kind of the container, space holder kind of masculine. And this Three of Pentacles right way up is also of like a collaborative kind of energy. But yeah, these both coming out in reverse tells me this person didn't realize how not ready for a relationship they actually were, and how much they were actually blocking themselves from being open to love and being open to connection, and how they were kind of like just passively like entering into connections and like letting them play out however, and kind of taking the first chance to run, and like as soon as things kind of got a little bit negative, like just like interpreting that as kind of like not meant to be and like moving on. And like this connection, I think, highlighted a lot of that to them very quickly. They realized it kind of like made them aware of how they were contributing to their own reality when it came to connection, and it was very transformative and very healing for them. So yeah, I think like I'm not really getting much of an impression from you. Potentially like you were pretty chill, you were at peace, you were like super cool and fine. But I think like on some level they must have, for them to be able to realize that they were like, oh, like I'm not showing up authentically and I'm not like showing up realistically and all this sort of stuff. I think like their impression of you must have been that you kind of had your shit together a little bit more, or maybe were a little bit more open and vulnerable with some of the work that you were in, and maybe like a lot more honest and like calling some stuff out, and maybe shedding light on your own darkness, and making it clear how you weren't perfect and that no one's perfect and no relationship is perfect. And being able to discern the difference between kind of not meant to be, like genuine, not meant to be energy, and my own stuff getting in the way of a connection. So I'd say your person definitely learned a lot from you. I don't know if it was necessarily always intentional, but definitely they got a lot of out of this connection. They probably went through a lot of extremes throughout this connection. Like in this transformation period, sometimes we can like really go through like intense highs and intense lows. And I'm getting that potentially they've felt like a bit of a roller coaster with you, because there has been intense highs and intense lows. in this connection, just based on all this stuff that this person's figuring out. So the oracle we have is wish wisely, use your wishes wisely to manifest your heart's desires and take practical step towards making your dream come true. I think you definitely like snapped them out of their immaturity and made them realize that they were going to have to be an agent in their own like destiny, in their own ending, in their own like fate or fortune or kind of whatever. Yeah, they definitely learned a lot. I feel like maybe, can you give us maybe a few more cards about this person's impression? I'm getting either like they're just heavy selfish vibes, or like everything that they learned was like about them before it was about anything else. Okay, so we have Queen of Pentacles. So she's like essentially the eternal mother. She's like that kind of like nurturing, mothering, kind of like Mother Nature energy. We also have the Hierophant, and she's like the connector between the physical and the divine. So yeah, I think like your person's impression of you was potentially a bit of these two energies. So like very mothering, nurturing. You probably nurtured them through a lot of the things that they went through in this connection in the early stages, and you definitely taught them a lot about living as a spiritual being on earth, and maybe some like rituals and practices that you do to support your own like spiritual development, and like kind of heal, and like what the things that you do that were like really positive in your own healing journey. Like they were understanding, oh, like I just can't expect to just get better overnight, like I actually have to work at this. So the affirmation that we have is, I allow transformation, I flow with each phase. So I'd say this connection is probably still in this transformative energy for this person, no matter what stage of connection you're in. It does seem like they're very self-focused. There's not a lot of energy moving to external things to you, for example. It seems like they're really worried about themselves and their own healing right now. Potentially you're either in a separation from this person, or they're just like a little bit self-centered. But yeah, I think you can either take this card as like coming from them, or like something for you. Like potentially you're both in this period of transformation and you both need to flow with this phase. But yeah, just take it as it resonates. You do you. You know you better than anyone else, boo-boo. But I think I'm going to leave that there, pile 3. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. My name's Jade Rewilding, and I'll be on this channel doing intuitive tarot card readings for whenever you need it. So if you can like, comment, and subscribe to keep me on your feed, I would really appreciate it. Until then, ciao.